It was actually way cooler than I expected it to be.
Wow, this is very intuitive.
That was cool. Oh, I did it!
Unbelievable.
That was really fun, and that was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Welcome to Upward with Transfr, where we tackle our evolving workforce and how educators, governments, and industries are changing to keep up. We're dedicated to building effective pathways for workers and job seekers to get the skills they need to get into well-paying careers in high-growth industries. Our part in that is designing and distributing hands-on simulations that learners can use to explore new career options and develop core skills before entering an in-person vocational training program. Transfr simulations augment human educators, broadening their range of classroom possibilities without expensive facilities build-outs or specialized equipment. I'm Jack Sislak, Editorial Director at Transfr, and your host for this episode. I'm joined by Ross Kasun from Transfr and Ashlyn Ozment and Zach Martin from Kannapolis Middle School in North Carolina. Let's jump in. Our modern workforce is in crisis. Students are not training for some of society's most needed jobs because current career exploration methods don't introduce them to the jobs that are in greatest demand. Instead, many students and even adult learners are encouraged to explore careers in a very vague, general way, and there's no focus on the specific jobs our society needs and is willing to pay for. So how can we help solve this disconnect? K-12 schools are working to help students explore dozens of well-paying, high-demand careers, and the tireless efforts of educators and career counselors can positively shape the workforce of the future and help students from pools of undiscovered talent find jobs with upward mobility. On this episode, we're joined by one of our Transfr team members and two K-12 educators focused on helping students explore careers in new and engaging ways. I'll let them introduce themselves. They are Ross Kasun from Transfr and Ashlyn Ozment and Zach Martin from Kannapolis Middle School in North Carolina. Thanks so much for being here. Before we dig into this challenge and what the path forward looks like, let's dig into our guest backgrounds a bit more. We'll start with you, Ross. Please tell our audience about your career and what you do now for Transfr.
Sure. Hi, I'm Ross Kasun. I am the Director of Content Programs and Strategy for K-12. Prior to joining Transfr, I had the pleasure of serving in public schools for 28 years, the last 17 as a superintendent in the great state of New Jersey. For the work that our district did to empower students and learners, I was humbled with the honor of 2017 being named the New Jersey Superintendent of the Year. Throughout my career, I always found one of the best ways to empower learners was through career exploration, showing them what's possible for their future. Students can't be what they can't see. I surely in 8th grade could not envision that I was doing this. I was playing probably the first iteration of Pong and didn't even know that there was virtual reality at that time. So as students can't be what they can't see, they're often limited in scope to what their friends do, what their families do, and what they've seen on TV. So when career exploration is done right, it really empowers the learners to think about their future, and it also connects the why of school. The U.S. Department of Education estimates that 1.2 million students drop out of school each year. And the absentee rate, chronic absenteeism, is at all-time high at over 30%. The Gates Foundation did a research study to find out why all these students were dropping out of school. And they found that many drop out because they saw no connection to the outside world and what they were learning. They felt the school was not important. Career exploration, when it's done right, like the way Ashlyn and Zach do it, it gives a relevance to school. It connects students to their learners. We work at Transfr to empower our learners, our students, about their future through career exploration. We show students short 3 to 7 minute virtual reality experiences through a coach that basically exposes them to many careers that they would never see or never even know about. To me, my job is wonderful. I get to work with students all the time. It is so amazing and gratifying to walk into a class with the headsets, show students a variety of careers, and have one or two or many of them say, wow, that is a really cool career. I want to do that. So that's my role, and it's really a pleasure to work to empower students to learn more about their futures.
Awesome. Yeah, Ross, great. Thank you so much. It's really great hearing, how your background ties into what you're doing here at Transfr now and the Transfr mission. We could talk about this all day long. I love it. And now let's hear from Ashlyn and Zach. Ashlyn, why don't you start? And then Zach, you can both give your backgrounds and then we'll jump into some questions.
Hey, everybody. I'm Ashlyn Ozment. I'm the Career Development Coordinator for Kannapolis Middle School. And I've kind of been the jack of all trades and the master of none for a while in education, but I love helping in every area that I can. So I started off in elementary school, STEM coach, STEM teacher, moved my way into teaching computer science discoveries at the middle school level. Absolutely loved CTE, loved everything about the world of career and technical education. And also coach robotics on the side, love spending time with my students. But then I really wanted to reach more. I wanted to help more students. I wanted to make a bigger impact. So I stepped into the role of career development coordinator, which now I have the sheer pleasure of working with all 1,400 students that we have.
Wow.
And I also get the pleasure of working with the finest group of CTE teachers the state of North Carolina has to offer, including Mr. Martin. He is one of our prize jewels that we have. But part of my job is to work with students directly in getting them career exposure. We do this in several different ways. So we do career development plans to where students are exposed to a myriad of different careers, options, and then they start to think about, what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, most students about this age will change their mind about 10 different times until they find that one that they're pretty passionate about.
I know I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I think when I was young, wanted to be a NASCAR driver. Then I wanted to go into space. And then I'm like, I think I'll teach one day. So it's amazing to see that progression.
It's not a straight line. It's not a direct line.
No, it is not.
Yeah. It's very windy.
But other than that, we offer industry partners to come into the school for career talks. We give them direct exposure.
Right on.
So they come talk to the students about what it is they do in their company, the benefits of working at that job, and, the pros and cons, because there will be that with every job that you have. We take industry tours, job shadowing. We have apprenticeship programs as well. So you name it, we are just trying to get our students ready for the 21st century workforce area.
Yeah. And I like what you said too about, the things that are good and bad about each of these different tasks. If you can't handle heights, if you don't like blood, et cetera, like some of these simulations that we have now through Transfr are pretty intense, but they're also just like, that's a day in the life of this job. So it's better to find out sooner rather than later. Like, I'm going to put that one to the side. I'm not going to pursue that one.
Oh, yeah. A lot of our students really love health science, but that has been a huge fact in, we have to deal with blood and everything else.
And everything else, yes. Health science is so intense. But yes, okay, that's awesome. And Zach, let's hear a little bit from you, and then we'll jump into these questions. I don't want to get too side. I'll talk and talk.
All right, good morning. I'm Zach. I'm a teacher here at Kannapolis Middle School. I'm the career exploration teacher for the CTE department. My background was in communications, and I actually had no idea that I wanted to teach. I run a summer camp, and I was doing that all through college and decided that I did not want to stop working with kids. So I got in contact with our local middle school, which is when Ashlyn was actually moving out of her position from the classroom into her current position. And so our principal called me back and was like, hey, I have this CTE position that sounds like it would be great for you. Why don't you come in and talk to us about it? And that's when Ashlyn pitched me the idea of turning her former robotics classroom into a career explorations class. And so we've worked really hard to build that curriculum. And the headsets are a huge part of that curriculum. Like you said, showing these kids these modules firsthand so that they can get that experience and say, oh, that wasn't something that I could do. The blood was too much for me, or I really enjoyed that. I love that. I want to continue to pursue that. So yeah, I use myself as an example for my classroom all the time. I did not originally think that I would be a teacher or be in the classroom, and here I am.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and students really do need to see examples of people who took different paths in life and still got to a place that they feel really good about. Because I think there's also this feeling that you have to pick one career as early in your life as possible, and you have to go down that road, and you have to achieve something in that area, or else it's a failure of some kind. And we don't have enough of this narrative about how circuitous it can be to get to a job you really love. Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for those intros. It's really inspiring to hear all the work that you're doing to help prepare students for the workforce of the future. So let's pull back a little step here for you, Ashlyn and Zach, and just what is the overall goal of career exploration programs at your school?
So in Kannapolis City Schools, we honestly have such a great CTE program. We offer 14 out of the 16 major CTE pathways. And with that being said, with our large course offerings, we just want to expose the students to as much as possible. So the point of career explorations is that at the middle school, we have 5 total CTE classrooms, which, gets them started. But then it starts to spread out into the other CTE areas at the high school, which is a huge program. And we just want to guide them in the area that they are going to be most passionate about and give them the best experience. So we have college and career promise programs where students can get free college credit, which is huge. So depending on their pathway, if they can pick that sooner than later, they can get on board, sign up for these classes, and then part of their college is taken care of. We also have huge partnerships with our community college, RCCC. We love our partnership with them. Once again, offers scholarship opportunities. It offers the students the opportunity of having their associate's degree completely taken care of by the time that they graduate high school. And we, like I said, we just want to give our students the best run at things, all of the tools that they need to be successful. So our goal at the middle school is based on a new state mandate, we all have to push out career development plans for our students. So they all have to sign, hey, I think this is what I want to do. And here is my academic plan that will help get me there.
Right.
So based on what we do with our headsets and another partner program that we use, which is Major Clarity, the students can record their ideas. And it also directly aligns with our middle school and our high school classes. So as the students start planning both their career development plans and their academic plans, they can choose that career pathway and it leads into the high school itself. So they get to see all of the subclasses that come from that.
It's very smooth. Sounds like a very smooth pathway.
We try to make it that way, yes.
Yeah.
So I was actually about to segue into Mr. Martin talking about how our headsets play a pivotal role in giving these students exposure. So I'm going to let Zach take away.
Love it. All right.
Yeah, so that's actually a huge part of the curriculum is getting the students familiar with these career pathways. And one of the major ways that we do that is using the headsets and the modules and getting them familiar with the different career fields so that when they do get to the high school, they can take part in these programs. And we have so many CTE programs at the high school, like Ashlyn was talking about. Some of them, the students can graduate high school and be certified in a trade and go ahead and start making money, which is something that was super important to me when I took this job, was that I wasn't going to be pushing all my students to go to a 4-year university because it's not feasible for everybody, especially with us being a Title I school district.
And that's really awesome. And Ashlyn, you mentioned community college before. I'm a community college graduate. I'm a huge proponent of community colleges. Every time I meet a person who's thinking about what their next step is, for whether they're in high school or they're an adult who's kind of at loose ends, I'm like, go to community college, take a couple classes, work and take classes, and just build skills, build your resume back up, and go to school and see where it takes you. Like we've been talking this whole call just about how circuitous it is. Community college is a great place to sharpen those skills and figure out what you're doing next. So I can't say enough about it.
If I could do it over again, I would have done it that way. Talking to our students, a lot of them will actually shy away from the college route just because of the financial burden that's behind it. So I think this is great, getting them exposed, and that way they can see these opportunities, and these were opportunities I did not know about growing up. So I wish somebody would have pushed me for that.
If you're a young person listening to this podcast, community college, think about it. Lot to love there.
I wanted to add on to what Zach was saying. The virtual reality simulations are developed by industry experts in the highest growing, fastest paces occupations that are available. And what's really neat is I get to travel the country and see students use them. And 2 weeks ago, I was in a school in New Jersey and working with a bunch of 8th graders, and I had the headsets with me, and the bell rang. It was lunch period. I didn't have the chance to run 4 kids through. They were kind of waiting online. They gave up their lunch period because they wanted to use the VR. It's the tools and it's what they do at home on their free time.
Right.
And now we're using and meeting them where they're at with the tools and the experiences they use. It's really great to see kids light up and be able to really experience an actual task in an occupation and say, yeah, that's for me or not. So good stuff.
Love it. So this has been really great, sort of getting a big picture view of how you do this. Let's talk a little bit more about what sort of challenges or obstacles you've had to overcome to give your students a fuller career exploration experience.
This wasn't a class here at the middle school previous to last year. Last year was our first year having an actual career exploration class. And so we've had to build a lot of the curriculum ourselves. Obviously, the headsets help with that. But I would say the biggest challenge we were facing was us having to start a curriculum from the ground up, essentially.
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, I definitely say curriculum alignment and development was huge. Just because we do use our CTE Moodle page for the state of North Carolina, but those lesson plans can either be dated or kind of bare bones at times.
Yeah.
And we really just want to give the best experience for our students and make sure that they are getting a well-rounded curriculum. And another thing is that we want students to be hands-on.
Yeah.
A lot of our students, they do not do well with the old-fashioned lecture style lessons. And they are kinesthetic learners. They are visual learners. They have to be hands-on. So the VR headsets have helped tremendously with that. And with students that, typically don't have the same buy-in and lack some of that motivation, this has been a huge turning point for us in getting them more involved and engaged in the lesson plans. And then we have paired other things like we use Reality Works as well, and they have hands-on kits, and it gives the students just another piece in enriching their middle school experience and career exposure. So, yeah.
I think you bring up a great point, Ashlyn. I could imagine reading about being a solar tech or actually going into the headset and experiencing it and getting lifted up in the air and being on a roof and feeling what that's like.
Yep.
So a very good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and to your point also, this is a shameless plug for the amazing learning sciences team. And a recent study that we just did showed that even when they take a group of people and have them take an assessment of what their learning style is, active or what they said reflexive, passive, I like to read more or sit there and learn more versus active learners. Everybody in the test group so far, so it's just one test, but it's pretty powerful results. Everybody did better with the active VR learning. Even if somebody was like, no, I'm a reflexive learner. I like to sit there and read the manual. And it's like, no. Using the VR was way more effective for them. So that's really cool. So I can totally see how this would be way more engaging, especially for young students who don't even really know. None of these people have had a job. Well, maybe small. I had a paper route in middle school, but I don't know if anybody has those anymore. Dating myself. Let's talk about if there's anything else that you're thinking that would help learners and you get more out of the career exploration process.
I would say Trek is a great tool that we're getting to test out and starting to use. Like we were saying, the supplemental parts of the career exploration field, not just using the headsets, but using all of the other tools that we have at our disposal, the Reality Works, hands-on kits, the Trek program that we're starting to pilot and try and use and helping the kids to find those different career pathways and explore them outside of just the headsets in a different but still engaging way.
Absolutely.
I would say all of those are helpful pieces. Anything that supplements the headsets and those hands-on experiences in the classroom.
Cool. And Ross, I'm sure you're aching to jump in right here and just tell us really quickly what Trek is. And Zach, thank you so much. What a great setup. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Yeah, it's our new complement product to be used in conjunction with the headsets. So it starts with a quick interest inventory of 23 questions with quick swipes of what I like and what I don't like. It then matches students to 5 all the way up to 30 different careers. Students can then go and explore those careers. find a deeper pathway, find out what is required, whether it's a community college, a certificate, a 4-year degree, 2-year degree, shows the skills that students should be working on. As Ashlyn said, it helps them develop that academic and career plan. But then it also links to the headsets and says, wow, through everything you've done in your exploration, and that's really what it is, an out-of-headset exploration tool, you should look at these simulations. You should look at vet tech. You should look at the knee surgery and the EMT. And, it, as we continue to build experiences through our career exploration tool, when you put 50 careers in front of a student, that's sometimes overwhelming. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of choice. This really narrows that down and says, you can look at them all and spend time, which many kids do because they love those experiences. But these are the ones that you really should look at because they match your skills, they match your interest and where you may want to go. So it's kind of a complement tool to our career exploration to really help kids set that pathway for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it, like you're saying, it kind of narrows their focus a little bit and channels them directly into something that would be a really good use of their time. But yes, we know students, users of all ages love to throw on the VR headset and get in there. And yes, Ashlyn, please go ahead and add your thoughts here as well.
Yeah, I love the word that you used, which was complement. That was something I was going to talk about, the career exploration process and just improving it. I think that, just coming from more of an administrative side of things, you get exposed to so many different products. Everybody's trying to sell you the latest and the greatest, but oftentimes these products do not play nicely with the others. They don't mesh very well. And then it's very obvious that you're just trying to make 2 different size pieces fit into the same spot, and that's not going to work. So we've really tried meticulously picking programs, whether it's hardware, software, online programs that will mesh well and really be seamless for students. So we use Edge Factor for videos. They give the students more of that visual representation. If they want the kinesthetic and visual, we do the Transfr VR headsets to where they can just dive in and see it and get that hands-on experience. Major clarity where, yes, if they want to read that very large paragraph about what it means to be a vet tech, they can, but it's all encompassing and it all goes together so well. So we're just really thankful for these programs and being available and, also happy for Trek and how that's coming out soon. And that has been fantastic because the kids can just dive into a simulation. So they do their Holland's Code assessment, which is basically their personality assessment. Like, what are your likes? What are your interests?
Yeah.
And then from there, they, get a few different possible career choices that might suit them. But what's nice about the Trek is that they'll be able to just scan a code, put it directly into the headset and go. And it's just so seamless. We love it.
Yeah.
So whatever makes our lives easier as an educator and what makes the students' lives easier, it's the best way to go.
Awesome. And we've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but are there any other resources or services available to help students as they explore career options that you haven't mentioned already? Career counseling, workshops, job fairs, stuff like that. I know you mentioned industry partners. That's always really cool to hear about.
Yeah, we offer a lot. We are a very CTE heavy district in Kannapolis. So every year we have C4, which is the Cabarrus County Career Connections event. So we have hundreds of industry partners that will come. So high school students can bring their resumes. They can actually interview on spot if they want to, or they get to see other educational platforms such as our community colleges, 4-year colleges, apprenticeship programs. So we give them exposure there.
That's really cool.
Here at the middle school, we do our yearly career fair. And this year we were honored to host 36 different industries. Huge event. And our 8th grade students got to sign up for those that they were most interested in and had about 30-minute sessions with these presenters, hearing about, hey, what education do you need? What training, et cetera, et cetera. We offer career counseling grades 6 through 8. However, we're pushing it into our 5th grade as well and getting them started even younger.
Give them a little insight. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So between that, the career talks, the field trips that we take to go see things in person, we're definitely getting our kids ready.
Okay, wow, we're going to have to wrap it up there for now, but please join us on our next episode for part 2 of this insightful conversation, where we'll explore more of the ways K-12 educators are helping kids prepare for the work world of tomorrow. See you next time, everybody.